I'm King Banyan. Normally after we publish QBR, we hold a review in the St. Cloud area. Due to the need for social distancing, we canceled this quarter's review. I offer you this video as a substitute. These are our sponsors. They're not responsible for the content of this video, but we thank them for their continued support of the Quarterly Business Review. This is an extraordinary time. We have in this report data from January 20, and which time the economy looked very strong. When we sent surveys to our area businesses on February 20, we knew there was an epidemic in China, but we had not processed that it was going to be an issue for us. By the time we closed the survey on March 13, things were very, very different than they were then. Our report tried to catch up with the events, but the changes continued to occur. In short, what happened to us was a sudden stop, like what happened to this poor man on the horse. One of the ways to see this is to look at our St. Cloud 12 stock price index. It went mostly sideways in January and the first part of February, but then declined dramatically during the time our surveys were in the field. The decline accelerated since all surveys were returned. The index fell 28% since March 1 through March 24, even including the sharp rise in stocks on that very last day. A few days matter a great deal to sentiment. Take a look first at our survey results, which again ended on March 13. Despite businesses reporting a rather slow end to 2019 and start to 2020, most thought the coming 6 months would be better. Payrolls were still expected to expand. Businesses had had less trouble hiring qualified workers than over the last several years, but thought things would be harder in the months ahead. That result made it hard to believe a sharp recession was imminent. What a difference a week makes. A Minneapolis Fed survey the following week of 1,200 firms across the northern tier of states from the upper peninsula of Michigan to Montana showed a completely flipped result. 27% saw a large negative effect of coronavirus on their sales. Another 22% saw a medium negative effect. Outlooks went from optimism in early 2020 to pessimism now. If you run a business in a service sector that relies on manual labor of any kind, your business now is completely disrupted. Gad Levinson at the Conference Board, an economic think tank, offered these two lists of sectors that are most impacted or impacted by COVID-19. Manual labor is needed here to work. A work-from-home solution is for the most part unavailable to workers in these industries. Using data from Deed, I believe there are about 10,000 workers in these two lists in the St. Cloud area. We have about 110,000 overall. Many services are provided by self-employed who hire no employees. In personal services, for example, data would show you only 504 workers in 83 firms. But there are 441 additional shops that are a single service provider, a hair and nail salon, a massage therapist, independent physical trainers. Their sales and revenues are almost equal to the wages that the hired workers earn. Many behaviors were already changing before the governor's order. For example, in the restaurant field, you could see a drop in Minneapolis restaurant traffic as measured by the reservation app OpenTable in early March. By the time the governor ordered full-service restaurants closed on March 17, reservations had already fallen 40%. They had been strong through the first 2 months of 2020. Personal services and restaurants were only two sectors covered by the earlier governor's orders. Entertainment of all kinds is another manual service that's been closed. Luke Greiner, regional labor market analyst for Deed, believes that order covered 5,564 jobs in the St. Cloud area. A significant fraction of these are part-time, and for some it may be a second job. But under the orders issued by Governor Walz on March 25, those closures will now extend until May 1. These additional will extend to retail significantly. Removing grocery stores, pharmacies, and as I understand the order, those general merchandisers that have those goods, an additional 6,000 jobs are covered in this area alone in the St. Cloud area. there will be jobs in other parts of the St. Cloud economy that are impacted through multiplier effects. The exact range of jobs is still being sorted out, as many firms have sought to be classified as essential in order to maintain operations. Regardless of its scope, even a 2-week closure of a wider group of workers and families will greatly increase the shock to the area economy. My rough calculus of the impact of the March 17 closure, had it extended even 2 extra weeks, would have been an unemployment rate for April that reached over 9%. The order now makes it very probable that April's unemployment rate will set a record. The longer closures continue, the more impact on firms through lost customers, even if the firm itself is able to stay open. Thank you for listening. To see our report, go to setimes.com and check in the business section. Look for the next quarterly business report on June 14th in the St. Cloud Times, and we hope to see you for the next review on June 18th at the Sauk Rapids Government Center at 7:30 a.m. Thanks again.